Pay Hotel members and anybody else who's going to view this video today. I'm here live with the great Larry Kirsch. And Larry, how are you today? I especially like the backdrop. I'm not a Yankees fan, but I do like the backdrop.
Thank you. I just wanted to make it look like New York.
Well, it definitely looks like New York. Can you give a little bit of a background about what you're doing in the industry and how long you've been doing it?
Well, my wife told me I've been doing it more than 50 years. I can't believe it. I started at Smith Corona as a supply rep in 1964 in New York City and worked my way up within that organization to a branch manager and so forth. Most of the business I have done over the years has been with major accounts. And I was fortunate in being able to get a lot of banks, hospitals, institutions to do business.
Right. So you're still, and what location are you in? Where's your area again?
I'm in the New York metropolitan area. I'm in Long Island.
It's a nice big territory, right?
It's a nice territory.
So you're still currently selling, correct?
I am still currently selling as an independent rep, representing one of the major dealers in the metropolitan area, handling pretty much almost every line except for Xerox.
Right. So those lines would be?
Rico, Konica Minolta, Kyocera.
Right.
Those would be the major lines. Predominantly Rico.
Okay.
Savin Rico.
Got it. So with the well, of course, with the pandemic, and we have pre-pandemic and pandemic, and now we're post-pandemic. And since a lot of us got firsthand experience doing video chats, do you have a favorite now that, as far as meetings, how you want to conduct meetings?
It's opening up now, and I see a lot of meetings that are live. They've become live.
Right, but which ones do you prefer? Do you still prefer the live meetings, or
yes,
like one of our previous guests said, he said he likes to be belly to belly with the client?
That's a good term. I like to be belly to belly also. I get a better idea from a point of view of controlling the meeting. If I'm live, I can control a meeting, and I get a lot of visual information from the prospects.
Got it.
Body language, things like that.
Things you can't see through a Zoom call or an MS Teams call, right? Something that can help us get that, what do they call it? Gee, I'm at a loss for words now. That doesn't happen that often. Something to get commonality with the client.
I agree with that. I like to have a cup of coffee with them. I'll talk to you about that later, what that does. That gives me control of the meeting, frankly.
Got it. So, so besides copiers, are you involved in anything else like IT services, content, cloud backup?
We have one of the outfits that I work with has experts in that field. And I pass that information on to them, and they can talk to the customers about it. Like I say, most of the accounts are major clients. And I have the resources, experts in those resources that help me accomplish that.
Good, good. So you bring in your experts.
I can handle the opening lines and things like that, but when it goes down to nitty gritty, I'd prefer to have some of the experts with me.
Is there any certain one of those products that you lean on, like for content? Would it be DocuWare, or for backup, would it be data?
We have DocuWare. I think cybersecurity is a good opening for me to talk to the customers about that, because many of them just know the term cybersecurity and they really don't know the nitty gritty of it. And once I get into that, then I can go down the line of what I want to accomplish at that meeting.
Okay, neat. So you mentioned before that you focus in major accounts. Has that always been your focus?
Well, I was a branch manager for Jackson, for Savin in New York and in Chicago. And I focused on regular down the street sales. And then I got into major accounts. And that was really the primary clients.
So Saxon, that's a pretty old name for the industry, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty old name. Unfortunately, they had their problems. And after I left them, I opened up my own dealership. I was a Panasonic dealer.
Now, I was just going to say that weren't some of the Saxons actually OEM by Panasonic?
Absolutely.
Okay. Brings back many memories. So besides the majors, do you do any production at all?
Any what? I'm sorry.
In major accounts, do you do any production? Do you sell any production presses?
Yes, but not that many, but I have sold some production print. But
Okay.
into the major clients.
Okay. So how's it been for the last 12 months?
The last 12 months have been a challenge due to the pandemic. It's hard to reach people. It's hard to get them focused. We have to do a little bit more planning. So the planning starts to stretch out, which is okay. Eventually you're going to get the business. And hopefully that will happen this year and it'll break wide open.
Right. How about the last 3 months?
Last 90 days, most of it has been in the planning stages.
Okay.
I did place some minor upgrades. Nothing new. It's always a challenge to get the new major accounts. But when I'm talking about major accounts, I'm talking about customers that have 20, 50, 100, 300, 500 pieces of equipment.
Right. It's quite a few pieces of equipment.
I know I've been fortunate in my career to be able to sell 1,000 pieces at once, things like that.
Right.
But it takes time. It takes a lot of time and planning. Trust, it's pretty much trust. The customers have to trust.
It's always about trust, right? It's always about trust.
Trust and the references. You know, I'm fortunate with when it went from one bank to 10 banks,
right?
It's because they have conversations themselves amongst the individuals at the banks, and they talk about who they're doing business with. And I was fortunate in my career to get many banks.
Nice. During COVID, were you still trying to get net new accounts?
Yes, I was still trying to get net new by referrals, but I pushed back. Most of these people are holding off on decisions in the majors.
Right.
And unless you're the incumbent, it's more of a challenge. But it's there. It's there, and it can be had.
And even sometimes with the incumbents in the majors, a lot of that business was stalled, and some of that business is still stalled.
No, I agree with you. It is stalled, but it's going to be there, and it's going to be wide open. I have spoken to an internet bank actually, and they said, you know, we have to upgrade the equipment this year. I said, okay, we'll get to it.
Right. So, did you do anything differently during COVID to find net new customers?
I did the Zoom meetings. I did a few of those. That was helpful.
Right, but how about to find them? To find somebody who is net new already. I mean, were you out there?
I'm very heavily networked, so
Okay.
that's where I would find net new opportunities. And when I say net new, Art, I'm looking for a handful of prospects, and that represents significant volumes of business for any dealer, for your dealership as well.
Yep. Yep, especially when you're talking about that many units, 50, 100, or 300 at a time.
Yes.
Right. So, since we're in a post-COVID I guess, era right now. Have you stepped up any of your net new prospecting? Have you tried something different that you normally didn't do before?
I called some of the account people that have retired. The major clients I had, the purchase, let's call it purchasing or VP in that area. And I called them up, asked them for what they're doing, and they were retired. I said, listen, maybe we could help each other out. And we could reach out to some of your colleagues that you're still involved with and you have meetings with, and share with them what we can accomplish during this time period. So I have 3 or 4 of those people that I've been working with, and hopefully that'll move things along.
Good, good. So when you're out getting or trying to get a net new appointment client you've never spoken to before, is there some type of Midas touch that you use that kind of works almost every single time?
It's all through referrals. Midas touch would be maybe playing golf, maybe going to one of their events that they have, their charity events, being there.
Now that's you reminded me of something, right? You reminded me of charity events. But just hold that thought for later, all right?
Sure.
All right. So we're gonna move on. So with the products and hardware that you offer, is there any certain feature or third-party solution that you always want to recommend to your clients?
That's a good question. Third-party solutions might be in cybersecurity, and there's an array of software products that the customers could take a look at. But I try to tell them they have to be proactive in that arena and not reactive. There are a few proactive software products.
So do you bring up cybersecurity in your talk track?
Yes.
Okay. Good move. You have to nowadays, right?
Well, you're going to have a better receptive, you have a very receptive group when you talk about that. And it is groups now. Years ago, I would be selling to one person. Now you're selling to many.
Right, got it. So how about hardware? Tough to get, not tough to get? Just outright, never seen it like this before?
It's a little challenging, but you can get it. You know, fortunately, I'm working with a very strong dealer. They're one of the top 5 dealers in the nation, so they have some leverage.
Right, and you got to set the client expectations up front. That goes a long way.
Yes, that is correct. I'm sure you may be experiencing the same thing.
Oh yeah, it is proven to be interesting. But you know what? Every time you have one of these, I don't know, I don't want to call it a calamity, but every time we have something that happens in our industry, you can always turn that bad into something good. And turning that bad into something good is when you're meeting with the client and you can say, well, when they bring up, well, how soon you can deliver. And I mean, if you were originally 5 to 10 days and all of a sudden you're quoting 5 to 7 weeks, and I recommend that you go now because we don't see any let up before the end of the year. I know for me, it's helped me move a couple deals to the finish line earlier than I ever expected.
That's a good point. You know, I try to make sure I get the order. The delivery time is the delivery time. There's nothing, frankly, I can do about that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. We know you're chatting about cybersecurity with your clients, but are you also having that talk track about MFP security?
The people I have working within the organization are experts in that area. I'll bring them in, talk
Okay.
about MFP security. I can talk about the highlights there, but
Right.
I prefer to bring in the people that have lived it. They have the expertise in that area and begin to chat about it. The customers also are more receptive to that. They want to hear it from an expert.
Yep, I agree. Is there any certain product that's hot for you right now?
DocuWare,
Okay. And why is that?
just has been brought to my attention. And I say, it makes a lot of sense. We have videos on it within
Right.
the organization that I could easily pass on to a prospect. They can look at it, review it, and then we can go from there.
Right, more clients just looking to, I guess, get better at their digital workflow.
Digital workflow is a good acronym, or is an adjective, I'm sorry, a good adjective to utilize.
Okay.
I don't want to open it to too many people, because then it makes the sale that much longer.
Kind of stalls the sale and moves it. It's like kicking a can down the road sometimes.
Sometimes it's true. So I like, if I could get one or two people to agree to what I'm trying to accomplish or what they're trying to accomplish, that's great. If it gets to 5 or 6 people, it just lengthens the sale, in my experience. There are a lot of software products that are good buzz. It's a good buzz for people
Right.
to begin to talk to them, but it does lengthen the sale, and sometimes it queers the sale.
Yeah. Yeah, true. So here's a fun question for you. If you could add one new feature to a copy machine, what would you add?
I don't think there's really any one feature that I could think about that would make a difference in the sale.
Okay.
I don't think it would make a difference in the sale. I think it would be good. I mean, everybody wants the copier to make coffee, you know.
Okay.
That's sort of a joke, but you've had some good ideas, and some of your people came across with some good ideas about what to do. But frankly, I thought long and hard about it. I didn't see anything that I thought would be a clincher.
Okay. Cool. Good enough. Story time. Can you tell us a cool story?
Well, coming from the old days when you were selling electrostatic copiers, typically the copiers would fail. They would jam. And if you're on a demo, you'd have to learn how to react to the jam on the copier as you're demoing it and showing them how easy it is to remove the jam from the copier. And it was built and designed that way. They had a drop-down chute or something like that. So we were trained by experts as to what to do and how to do things. And lo and behold, it would happen a little too often. But that's in the olden days. That's what would happen.
Those were cool demos though, because when you had that misfeed happen, you'd say, I was hoping we would have this misfeed.
You must have gone to the same training school.
Right, because this Minolta copier is equipped with a clamshell for easy removal of the paper misfeed. And you'd open it up and you go in, you take the piece of paper out, and then you go to the client. Now, wasn't that simple?
That's true. Or we would take an original and crumple it up and feed it through so that it would come out and say, look, it's not going to jam, and you have to cross your fingers that it's going to work.
Right, right. So we're going to go back to nonprofits. And a long time ago, you told me what your key was to get major accounts through nonprofits, not nonprofits, larger corporations. You actually told me to get involved with nonprofits on a volunteer basis.
I agree with that 100%. Try to do that. And you're going to meet with high-level people, the executives that are associated with those charities, let's say the Heart Association, the Boy Scouts, or something like that. It's usually the top people in those organizations, and you're going to be sitting around a table and introducing yourself. Hi, my name is Art Post. My name is Larry Kirsch. What do you do? They're going to ask you what you do,
Right.
and you might have a chance. I'll tell you, you're going to have a good chance because they're going to talk to their people in their organization and have them meet with you.
Right.
You'll get a meeting. You'll get a meeting because they've been notified by the top people in their organizations to chat with yourself because you're involved with their charities.
Yep, goes a long way. And some of those bigger donors or those people that have those bigger businesses, that's that's where they hang out. That's what they like to do. Good. That's a great tip.
So that's where networking comes in. You're going to be going to these networking meetings. I think I have at least 4 networking meetings within the next 60 days that I know top people are going to be at. I'll just give them, and you always have a chance, at least the ones I go to identify yourself and what you do.
Right. So networking is still big in your book.
Yeah, I think that's a key component, networking, and being sincere and trustworthy. And if you develop your own reputation, and you and I both know there's a lot of people in the industry have good reputations. If they meet with other people, they're going to be recommended.
Right. So what's one piece of knowledge that you'd like to share with new reps who are either just getting into our industry or they've been in our industry for maybe a year or two?
That's a good question. I would tell them to really be aware of product knowledge, not only your own products, the competitive products. Read your operators' handbooks from your own company.
Yep.
And the copy of your competition. Just read through those handbooks and they'll give you an edge, as I would try to tell my salespeople that I had. You're looking for a little bit of an edge. And coming out of those books, there are significant ideas that you can pick up.
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And it's just like if you read the brochure, I'm going to move to a brochure now. If you read your brochure once, read it 3 or 4 times, and then go read your competitor's brochure 3 or 4 times.
I agree. And I would highlight, take a yellow highlighter. I'm still going back to the days of highlighting things, and highlight your strong points and your competition's weak points.
Right. So I'm still staring at that Yankee Stadium in the background there. And I don't know if you know this, but I'm a huge Mets fan.
Okay, I know the Met people. They're my friends. I knew the owners, not the new owners, the past owners. And you know how I got to know them? I'm on committees with them in charities.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And frankly, in my past, I was the past president of the Sales and Marketing Executive Club in New York, and had an opportunity to meet a lot of different people. And as the president, I was meeting the presidents of the United States and their families and things like that. So I did move around a little bit from networking point of view. It was enjoyable, still enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, Larry, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate the time. I appreciate seeing the picture of Yankee Stadium in the background. I think that's a great backdrop for you. And hopefully you and I will be able to maybe catch up at the BTA East this year. I'm not sure where it's going to be, but since it's in the East, maybe we'll get the hook up again. And I'd like to say to everybody who viewed this, you can always get a hold of Larry Kirsch through LinkedIn. Larry's also a member of the Print for Pay Hotel. And if you've liked these videos, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. And we're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. And I finished my commercial, Larry, but I want to thank you again so much for your time and so much for your time throughout the years, because you've helped me on quite a few occasions.
And you've helped me as well. And I would recommend to people to touch base with you because you're more up to speed in today's products and ideas than most people I know. It would be a wise thing to do to touch base with you. But there was one thing I mentioned a little bit earlier I wanted to say to you. It was about coffee. If you remember a few minutes ago, I said, let me just tell you the coffee story.
Yeah.
When I was younger, a trainer said to me, Larry, whenever you go into an account, they're going to ask, would you like coffee or would you like some water? Always say yes. Don't drink it. Leave it there. At the end of your presentation, if you haven't gotten the order, you can say, I haven't even finished my coffee yet. Can you give me a couple of minutes more?
No, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm glad you liked it. It does buy you an extra 5 minutes, but you better get your act together.
That's great. That's great. All right, Larry, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we'll be talking soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it as well.
All right, take care. Thanks
Have
again.
a great day.
You too. Bye.